Hello and welcome back to the Limited Queue. Hi. I've been making draft videos less and less as, frankly, Origins has gotten a little boring. I wanted to touch base with you guys today because I've been playing a lot of paper, and a few weeks ago, there was a series of tournaments in my area. Let's rewind before that. I started out playing a Tarka Red in paper just as a cheap deck, just to do something. But then my girlfriend stole the deck, and she fell in love with it, so she started winning tournaments with it. And I didn't want. I made myself a crap Abzan deck. I call it Crapzan. I hate Abzan. I think it's just terrible. I mean, just throwing a bunch of multicolor good cards in a deck in and winning with it, plus Hangerback Walker, isn't really skill. It's just a pile of cards that you hope you luck out with, I guess. I feel like Abzan doesn't have a lot of synergy. I mean, the biggest synergy I've seen is like Abzan Charm and Anafenza into Hangerback Walker. Whoop de yay. Um, so I didn't I played Abzan for a few weeks and hated every second of it. I tried to make a hybrid aggro version that used Warden of the First Tree because I think it's a fantastic card that doesn't see enough play. It didn't go well. I don't know what I did wrong, but I guess there's a lot of it. Because my girl beat the crap out of me with a Tarka Red every time. So then I decided that there was something I wanted to try, and you're looking at it here. I call it Temur Morphs. It is BFZ standard legal, which is interesting because I was playing it when there was also Theros and M15 in the block, which there still is for another week, but it won't be for long. To buy the deck in paper, except for the Den Protectors and the Deathmist Raptors, I foiled the whole deck out for under $20. So I don't really want to call this a budget deck because Deathmist Raptor, place of the Deathmist Raptors are like 60 80 bucks, and Den Protectors are like 40 to 50. But without that, you can literally foil the whole deck out. Oh, and there's Wooded Foothills in here too. You can foil the whole deck out for about 20 bucks, which I think is awesome. You can definitely substitute some stuff out, but then I would really just use the deck in a casual setting. Okay, so we're looking at it, and this is my first standard deck tech, so maybe that's why this is going so choppily. So one thing that I've been poking around YouTube, I've been looking for videos for BFC standard, trying to get a feel for what I'm going to be seeing. There is a PPTQ in my area the Saturday after BFZ becomes legal. So BFZ becomes legal on this upcoming Friday. Everything rotates out. So Theros and M15 rotate out, and BFC becomes legal, and then Friday, and then Saturday there's a PPTQ in my area. So I'm pretty psyched because I feel like I kind of have a leg up on the competition with this deck because I have experience playing it. I had a plan, and I made this deck before Theros and M15 rotated out. I brought it to a few major tournaments. I top forward a GP trial with this deck, and I took 12th in a PPTQ with it, which had 48 people in it. So the deck I think is pretty good. I've never lost a game to Abzan. I just blow them out of the water. Any type of mid-range deck, I pretty much own. It has a little bit of problems with aggro, but I'm hoping that maybe I can sideboard something in that'll help me with that. I was running Anger the Gods and Circle of Flame before to combat mono red, but I'm not really sure if mono red is going to be still strong in the new BFC standard. So the reason I'm making this is because I was doing a search on YouTube for what to expect, and I was very disappointed in the Magic YouTube community. I feel like nobody had really done testing. Like the top videos for BFC standard were really just like, oh, everybody's gonna be running rally this and 5-color that, and they didn't really point to a build and say this works. This is fun. So I think I'm posting one of the first BFZ standard deck techs that actually shows you a deck and I can walk you through how it works, why it works, because I've actually played it in some semi-major tournaments in the recent past. And I did well when there was an extra, I don't know, 2,000 cards in the format. So theoretically, this should be pretty good if you were to take it to a tournament this upcoming weekend. I love this part of this right when sets rotate out of standard. I think it sparks the most creativity. Um, I because a part of me, I started playing this game when I was 12, and part of this game to me was always making your own deck and then bringing it to a tournament and see how it fared against other people's ideas. And I don't want to say the internet wasn't a thing when I was 12 because it was, but they weren't live streaming, national tournaments where and then posting deck lists the next day. That creates to me a loss of a loss of personal touch and creativity when it comes to playing Magic. It's something that I always hate, or no, I don't hate, but it's something that keeps me away from standard. I think that in a lot of ways, the internet and the way that information flows changes how we play constructed now, compared to, I don't know, playing a land destruction deck with Orcish Squatters in 1996, 94. So, like I said, it's my favorite. It's my favorite time. As soon as a set rotates out, I think it's a lot of fun. Now, let me. This is my Temur Morph deck. I have tournament experience with it. I've taken first or second at a few small tournaments with it. Like I said, I top 4'd at GP Trial with it, and I came in 12th in a PPTQ with it when Theros and M15 was legal. So let's walk you through it. Obscuring Either allows you to cast Morphs for one less, and it can turn into a threat itself. It's also a 1-drop, which is kind of interesting. Oh, sort by mana cost. Does that not work? Sort by mana cost? Oh, there you go. It's a 1-drop, which, well, a lot of these 3-drops are actually, a lot of these 2-drops are actually 3-drops. So Obscuring Either is a 1-drop. It comes down early, and then it has synergy with the rest of your deck. Oh, I actually had all that set up the way I wanted it. Oh well. So the concept is you drop an early Obscuring Either, so you can play Morphs for 2 mana, and then on turn 2 you have options. The best options, I think, are either Deathmist Raptor on turn 2 as a morph, or if you didn't drop an Obscuring Either on turn 1, play Trail of Mystery. Trail of Mystery is a often overlooked and awesome card. It gives your creatures bonuses when they flip up, and whenever a face down creature enters the battlefield. Which, by the way, I feel like this has a lot of synergy with other cards as well, and I'll get to those later. So whenever a face down creature enters the battlefield, you can search for basic and put it in your hand. Okay, so we're talking deck thinning, we're talking card advantage, and we're also talking cheap 2/2s. So the reason that you want to play out Deathmist Raptor first is because people have never seen this deck. Whenever people see a morph in the current standard format, they automatically think it is a Den Protector, and they see you play a Den Protector tapped out on turn 2, and they will do anything to get that off the board because they feel like you're a foolish player. They feel like you just stepped on a bear trap, and they're gonna save themselves from a 2-for-1 if they get your morph off the board on as soon as possible. So you play the Deathmist Raptor out either turn 2 if you cast Obscuring Either, or turn 3 with Trail of Mystery, and Trail of Mystery fetches you a land. Great. So they kill your Deathmist Raptor, it goes to the graveyard, and then the following and then they're saying, oh, it's not a Den Protector, thanks. So then you play down another morph on turn 3. So turn 1, Obscuring Either. Turn 2, Raptor. Raptor dies. Turn 3, Ire Shaman. This is the ideal curve here. Now they think, aha, there's no way there could be another Deathmist Raptor. I got to kill that one too. So they go to kill it, and in response to whatever they do to kill it, you'd flip up Ire Shaman, get back Deathmist Raptor. Now, this is going to be recurring. Obviously, the Deathmist Raptors are recurring here. Um, Now you have the choice of putting Deathmist Raptor in face up or face down. If you bring Deathmist Raptor back from the graveyard face down and you have Trail of Mystery out, this can fetch you a land for free. And what catches a lot of people off guard is that I don't know why this card hasn't seen play. Um, this is basically Abbot of Carol Keep with Menace. And it costs one red. Nobody sees this coming. I call this card the Spanish Inquisition because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. This card is amazing. For one red, you turn it up. If you have Trail of Mystery out, it turns into a 5/4 menace that gives you a card, and it can recur your Raptor if it's in the graveyard. So much upside. So if they wild slashed it, or if they I don't even know what other crap, or you can even use I'll get that in a second. If they For most removal spells will fizzle when this turns into a 5/4. Not fizzle. They'll do damage, but they won't kill your Ire Shaman, and you'll get back the Raptor. And if you have Trail of Mystery out, you get more lands in your hand. So every turn base, there are no instants or sorceries in the deck. All of the main deck is all the main deck effects that are not from the enchantments here. There's Obscuring Ether, Molten Vortex, and Trail of Mystery, are from the morphs themselves, which really throws a lot of people because there's a lot of morphs that don't see enough play. I've already mentioned Ire Shaman. Ainok Survivalist is huge. It's a free naturalize. For two, you flip it up and you can kill. I was killing Whips of Erebos with it. I was killing Coursers with it. You can kill Eidolon. Um, there's so many targets in the format for a free naturalize, and then you swing with a 5/4. If you have one Trail of Mystery out, if you have more Trail of Mysteries out, it's a 7/6. Or if you have two, up and so on and so forth. Two makes it a 7/6. Three makes it a 9/8. I mention this because it happens more often than you'd think. Because throughout the game, you have as long as they don't come out of the gate super fast on you, you're playing morphs, flipping them up for card advantage. Like every card in here is just about a 2-for-1. So Ire Shaman gives you a free card. Survivalist kills something. Raptor's got Death Touch. Den Protector is a 2-for-1 in itself. There's a counter spell here, and we have a bounce. So every card is an inherent 2-for-1 that is fetching, that you're paying for 1 mana cheaper, that is fetching you a basic land, which you can then in the late game, when you're going to have a handful of 9 lands at some point. And that's not an exaggeration. I know that you just discarded down to 7. You're going to have a handful of 9 lands in your hand, and you're going, because you just played, you drew a morph, you played it, and then you searched for 2 basics because you have 2 trails out, and then you're gonna pick up Molten Vortex off of when you flip up Ire Shaman. I mean, obviously this is a dream scenario, but Molten Vortex is a way to capitalize on massive card advantage by fetching lands with Trail of Mystery. There's a lot of synergy in this deck. A lot of people don't see this coming. I've never lost to Abzan. The only decks that I really have a hard time with are Esper Control and Black Blue Dragon. So disruption is difficult with this deck if they know how to play against you. At the PPTQ I lost the last round and avoided the top 8 just barely because the person I played with had scouted me because a lot of people were talking about my deck. And he knew how my deck worked and what to counter. So he let me resolve all of my enchantments, but then countered all of my morphs. So this way I couldn't take advantage of my enchantments once they were in play. I'm not sure if he would have done that anyway, if he didn't know how my deck worked. But maybe. I mean, good players, pick up on things like this very quickly. A lot of synergy in the deck. If you can drop an early Obscuring Ether or an early Trail, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing. And what's interesting is a lot of these cards are 2/1s with Megamorph which with Trail of Mystery out, when they flip up, they become 5/4s, which is just enough to kill Siege Rhinos. Pretty cool. Some other options I was thinking about for this deck, there's some downsides. Like the morph cost has to be kept low because you're always doing something with your mana. Not only are you casting creatures, you also have to worry about flipping them up. Other cards I was thinking about were Whisperwood Elemental and Master of the Way, because Trail of Mystery works with those very well. You know, you're with Whisperwood Elemental, you're getting a free manifest every turn, which is fetching you a land every turn. So Whisperwood Elemental is really it not only is it a powerful card in and of itself, it's also providing you with free lands, which turn into shocks with Molten Vortex. I shied away from the Whisperwood Elemental because I think it's a little bit too expensive, like in mana cost. And one thing I was thinking about doing with this deck was changing it to 4 colors to run Master of the Way with Hidden Dragon Slayer on the sideboard. Master of the Way, I think, would be a great way to gain life, to stay to aggro decks. Once they get a strong start on you, this deck can't really deal with. If you get down to 7 or 6 really quick, an aggro deck is going to burn you out. Unless you have a Stratus Dancer in play, which really only saves you from 1 spell, and it doesn't save you from Exquisite Firecraft. So I think for this week, I'm going to probably maybe take out the Frontier Biovacs, put in more fetch lands, put in 1 or 2 white mana, and then run Master of the Way. I think that'll definitely give this deck a lot more longevity. It'll enable it to stay alive much longer, and yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm going to be running this weekend at the PPTQ. Yeah. So like I said, this is a BFC standard deck that has been proven. It has a decent track record in the old standard, and I built this deck on purpose to combat to be ready for this transition. Sideboard, I was running Circle of Flame and Anger the Gods in the side, but really the most important card in the side are the Encase in Ice. You play this against Abzan decks that are running Dramoka, Abzan Control. So the 5/7 Dramoka is incredibly difficult to deal with. And Encase in Ice gets around that. And also Rending Volley is important against Esper Dragons, so you can, get rid of Ojutai. Excuse me. So yeah, that has been my deck. If I could, one thing that really gives this deck a hard time is Sulamgar, but then again, a 3/7 hexproof gives everybody a hard time. I don't really know how I would deal with that. I have had problems with it in previous tournaments. I was thinking about putting in Foul Tonification just because it targets the player, but I don't think it's worth it. So yeah, this has been my BFC standard deck tech. This is what I'm probably gonna be adding a color to this and then running it this weekend in a PPTQ for the new BFC standard. Thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate if you have some suggestions. Sure, yeah. Let me know what you think of the deck, and if you're crazy, if you think I'm crazy, let me know. If you're interested, let me know. If you have a suggestion for cards, I'm having a really hard time finding people who are interested in brewing this with me. They are mostly. Oh, are there? Well, there should be 4 obscuring ethers here. I don't know why there's only 3 showing. Well, just so you know, there should be 4. Yeah, cards at 59. So, yeah. Let's just put that in just to make you guys happy. Had 1 to deck. Done. All right, now I feel much better. Let me know what you think of the deck, and if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be posting another BFC standard deck tech in just a little bit, so try to check that out.